When I was a kid, I loved point-and-click adventure games, especially those from Humongous Entertainment, but I easily grew out of that phase pretty quickly, so suffice to say, I didn't get to play any LucasArts games such as Grim Fandango when it first came out in 1998. The game was developed by Tim Schafer, who's also known for his other great games such as Full Throttle, Psychonauts, and Monkey Island, to name a few, but Double Fine Productions was the team responsible for the modern remastered version of Grim Fandango. Since this was my first time playing it, some elements were pretty dated, but it still had its engaging moments too. The story is inspired from El Dia de los Muertos with a film noir genre, where you play as Manny Calavera, a Grim Reaper travel agent who sells travel packages to the recently deceased based on how morally righteous they were in life. After a long stroke of bad luck, Manny then steals a client from his competitive co-worker, which results in a woman named Mercedes Calamar getting roped into the conflict. Despite her pureness of heart, Manny realizes that the system has been corrupted after she fails to qualify for any high-quality train tickets, and is forced to walk through the forest for 4 years. Manny is also informed that his boss has been hoarding all of these train tickets for the biggest crime boss in the underworld named Hector LeMans. So Manny leaves town and decides to track down Mercedes with the help of a large orange demon named Glottis, which takes him on a 4-year journey where you meet colorful characters, visit interesting locations, and unravel the rest of the story as you go. I will start with what I liked about it first. The setup. The style of writing is timeless and well told. You have a solid plot, rounded characters, and a fun atmosphere. The graphics hold up fairly well, and you can even switch back to 1998 graphics in the options menu as sort of a nostalgic thing. You can also play using traditional controls, or use the original tank controls if you prefer. That is to say, if you want the trophy for playing with tank controls throughout. I also found a lot of the environments to be creative. There was a point in Part 2 when Manny takes over this portside town and turns it into a thriving nightclub, where you meet all of the characters that now work for him, and visit the surrounding areas in town such as an artsy cafe called the Blue Casket and a cat racetrack. The puzzles help drive the story rather than halt it, and they usually involve collecting an object to use honor with another object. Most of them are straightforward, but a lot are much more challenging, which brings me to my only real problem. Whenever I had to resort to looking up an online walkthrough, I feel ashamed because the answers are right there, but there were a lot of times where the solutions to puzzles were convoluted. For example, there's a point in Part 3 where Mercedes demands Manny's trust by asking him to give her his gun even though he doesn't have one. What you have to do is interact with the nearby ashtray in a way so that it spills onto her stockings, and she takes them off and throws them in the trash. You then collect the stockings and trade them with another character who just so happens to have an empty gun for some reason. That's quite a lot of confusion, especially when the first gun I saw was being held by the boss guy. Yes, there are spoken hints here and there, but a lot of times they're so subtle that they just go over my head. There are some points where I wish the game gave out clues. Monkey Island did this, so why not now? Yes, it is very rewarding if you can figure it out on your own, but I believe that leaving the player without a paddle is a very outdated trend. It never got to a point where I wanted to stop playing or anything, but it's one of those things where if you can figure it out once, then you can play through it with ease every time. Also, remember to save regularly. While you can't die or receive a game over, there is a chance that the game could crash as implied by the game's intro screen. As a whole, this game definitely holds up. New audiences can connect with it, and returning fans will appreciate the changes. I wasn't expecting to like Grim Fandango, but now I can't recommend it enough. It was a fun little quest, and I know I'll give it another go in the future. So see for yourself and enjoy the ride.
You are a friend of the revolution, Agent Calavera. And now, let me be of service to you.
You must go to the town of Rubalcaba, my friend, if you want to find your lost soul.
How do you know where she is?
I don't, but everyone who wants to get to the ninth underworld must cross the Sea of Lament, and therefore must go to Rubalcaba to get passage on a ship. As long as you get there before she does, you'll find her. But it may be quite a wait.
I'll wait as long as it takes.
Manuel, are you in love with her?
Love? Love is for the living, Sal. I'm only after her for one reason. She's my ticket out of here.